And so we're going to start in Psalm chapter 8. Actually, I don't even have to look at this because I know this verse by heart because it's one of those verses that resonates with me. And it's a Psalm of David, Psalm 8, verse 3. And he says, when I consider the heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, or the Son of Man that you visit him? And I think we can all understand the context, Theo. This is one of David's earliest Psalms. And we all know what he did before he was a king. What was he before he was a king? Yeah, he was a shepherd boy. And you could imagine him lying out on the hills at night tending the sheep. And it would have been pitch black, and he would have been looking at the stars, and he would have been looking at the heavens. And one day, he had an experience. And he was overwhelmed by the heavens. And he said, when I consider the heavens, the works of your fingers, the stars and the moon which you've ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him? You have created this huge universe, this huge heavens, and yet for some reason you care about insignificant little me and the Son of Man that you visit him. The reason this verse resonates with me is I had an experience that I would liken to David's in Psalm chapter 8. And I was 10 years old, and I would call this an existential crisis. If a 10-year-old can have an existential crisis, this was one. And when we were younger, until I was about 12, we used to summer on Delta Beach on Lake Manitoba. How many of you know where that is? And it's just north of Portage la Prairie. It's this beautiful wide beach, shallow waters. And the thing about it was the nights, because there's no street lights, there's no lights anywhere. The cottages were all dimly lit. And if you go down to the beach at night, in the absence of all these lights of the city that we have, you'd look up at the stars and you would see the heavens like you never saw them before. And one night we were having a little campfire, and there was just me and my dad left. And I remember the two of us were sitting on a log by the campfire, and I looked up at the heavens and I saw the heavens like I'd never seen them before. And out of my mouth, my 10-year-old mouth, came these words. I said, look at the stars. There must be 1,000,000 of them. For a 10-year-old, 1,000,000 is the magic number, right? $1 million, 1,000,000 stars, 1,000,000 anything. And my dad said something to me that shocked me and startled me. He said, Mark, there are more stars in the sky than there are sand on the seashore. And I thought, how could that be? And I'm thinking, I'm on this beach, and the sand is everywhere I can see. The sand is in my socks. The sand is in my shorts. The sand is in my bed. Our cottage people ran in and out of it all day long. No one ever wiped their feet. There was sand everywhere. My mother finally wanted to sell the cottage because she couldn't keep it clean. There was so much sand. And I thought, how can it be that there's more stars in the sky than there is sand on the sea? And I had this moment, this existential crisis, where I thought to myself, imagine this 10-year-old mind thinking this, either there is a God in the heavens or we're all lost in space, or something to that effect. And that moment in my life started this journey to where I am today. And it was all about looking at it, and I thought, this didn't happen by accident. This is what my 10-year-old mind was thinking. This did not happen by accident. Someone has created this. And you know, it's fascinating because here's what the scripture says about this. It's in Psalm 19, verse 1. And it's also David. Remember, a few verses later, a few chapters later, he says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. He says the purpose of the heavens is to show the glory of God. And when we look up at heaven, we should see it. We should understand the magnificence and the greatness and the grandeur of our God.